Hi class, my name is Paula McMillan. As in my last video, my 10-year-old son will be doing our videography today, and my 9-year-old daughter will be joining us after I go through my little curriculum design spiel. I'm not outside for this project. Apparently falling off your bike is not a good thing when you're 41 years old, but that's okay. We're doing just fine. All right, so my curriculum design. I titled it Relating to the Forest. I believe this is an avenue, at least it's very interesting to me, for children in the ages 8 to 10 years old to really get a feel for how they can relate to the forest on a personal level. We can use science and art, language arts, we can use everything really to get the children to understand that there is a constant interaction and constant relationship between our natural resources and us, regardless if you live in the big city or you live out in the country, or like us who live near the ocean. Children in the 3rd and 4th grades in this age bracket are in the concrete operational stage. This stage gives them the opportunity to interact with concepts. They also have the ability to apply those concepts to their experiences and their knowledge base. This is very important. They've already been exposed by this age basics like their 5 senses, basic adjective and descriptor words. They have been exposed to basic biology, plant, life cycles, some identities, and even tools that humans have used from natural world that they use in their everyday lives. I think the motivation for these students is just the fact that they're going to be outside. Outside is enticing. It gives you a chance to be free of thought, free of movement. There's space to think, if that makes any sense. Okay, so let's look at where my learning theory comes from. I've kind of combined experiential learning with the constructivism theory, because in these theories, children or learner-based theories give these people an avenue for their inherited trait. They have this basic human instinct to discover, to look forward, to seek new information. And I believe that this is an inherent trait in all of us humans. Imagine, honestly, what would have happened or what the world would be like today if Ben Franklin didn't decide to go fly a kite. Right? We wouldn't understand that lightning is the same as electricity and there is static in the air all the time. So I believe that human innovation is very closely tied to the natural world. Now, my learning objectives. I'm going to go over briefly what these are for my 4 activities. I want and hope that you get the correlation, how they work together and how they work off of each other. So our first activity relates to Bloom's knowledge stage, which I have entitled Tree Identity. At the end of this lesson, students will be able to locate and label conifer and deciduous trees based on information collected during a visit to their forested classroom. Furthermore, students will be able to describe, identify, and define the differences between conifer and deciduous trees within this forest center. Now, this activity will take place, obviously, in the forest in small groups. Our learners will discuss specific characteristics that they have perhaps gone over in class or in a science class. And they will work in these groups to reach a consensus. They will look at the characteristics of the trees that are before them, and they will come to a consensus. Was this a deciduous tree? Do the leaves fall off? Or is this a conifer? Is it an evergreen? They will flag the tree based on their group consensus, and it gives them an opportunity to help clarify for each other the information. It helps them to understand species characteristics, maybe in other words, whereas little Johnny can maybe explain it to little Sammy a little better or a little more in his language than the teacher can. And it gives them a chance to problem solve within a group. My next activity is called Tree Stories. Now this one covers Bloom's comprehension stage. A At the end of this lesson, students will express their understanding of seasons, ages, and history by discussing in story form their interpretive representation of the history associated with the forest they are visiting. Students will communicate this story in written and oral formats. Now, this is more of an imaginative activity. It's designed to help students get a personal interest and connect personally, relate personally with the forest. They get to choose an object, a tree, a rock, a bird, a bug, a twig. It really doesn't matter. They get to choose an object. And then they're going to write an autobiographical story about that object. Where did it come from? Where did it start? How long has it been there? What has it seen during its life? Now, it's purely imaginative. There'll be some science thrown in based on the student's knowledge on his or her own, or it could be all made up. Maybe they think it came from an alien from some distant planet that just tossed it off of their planet and landed on ours. It doesn't matter. This gives the children a chance to personally connect what goes on in their thinking processes to what they're seeing on the ground, what goes on in their lives to what they see in the field. They can even make these presentations at the end to the entire school, not just to their classes. And that could be fun. It could be a school-wide thing. That's a really fun activity. The third activity is associated with Bloom's application stage. Now, I've entitled this, What Is and What Will Be. At the end of this lesson, students will have examined a forest classroom and illustrate what benefits the setting has in its natural form. Students will then apply predictions based on their knowledge to produce future benefits that the forest components may be used for both by man and by nature. This activity was created to expose children to the amazing connections our natural resources have in our lives and how our lives affect those natural resources. Children will explore ecosystems. So they're going to understand in the classroom and in the field what an ecosystem is. How many components, the components are never ending. So they're going to understand that a system feeds itself and also feeds humans to one degree or not, be it by recreation, forest products, it can go on forever. They're going to explore basic food webs, basic lifestyle, and understand in the end that a neighborhood forest, no matter how small and no matter how taken for granted it is, has a big impact on the community of people who live in and near this setting. Sensory exploration. This is my favorite.
Put more stuff on the table.
This goes to Bloom's analysis stage. At the end of this lesson, students will have a better understanding of how their senses compare and contrast to their individual connections with the environment around them. They will observe and arrange their perceptions into both a written and sketch form to present to fellow students. This is my favorite activity, and I'll tell you why. I designed this around my 9-year-old daughter. She has a fantastic imagination. She has a fantastic tune into the world around her and in her fantasies, and her perceptions are quite beautiful. So what I had her do is I had her complete this activity for me. I had her go into a small forest here, our yard, and I had her do the process of this activity, and we're going to show that to you, her finished product. Felicia? Okay, back up a little. Watch my leg. Okay, so where's the first part of the activity? Where is it? Good. All right, the first part of the activity is the student, come over here. The student spends 5 minutes in a setting that calls to them. So they arrive at the forest, they look around. Some students will be drawn to trees, some to shrubs, some to grassy areas, whichever. They go to the area that calls to them. And in those first 5 minutes, they make a list of descriptive words. For instance, Felicia, for her descriptive sentences, She feels that the wind is very cool. She smells the sap in the trees. Very good. She sees the branches move in the trees. Can you read some more for me? Nice and clear.
I can hear the birds. The air tastes cold. The flowers make music and dance around me. The nearby trees dance with the flowers. I see a spider web. The soil is smooth.
The soil is smooth. Nice.
I can hear the ocean. Tall grass is being pushed by the wind. The air tastes plain. I can see daisies in a bud.
Okay.
And I even saw an ant.
You saw an ant?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
The bushes are also being pushed by the wind. And the leaves on the ground cover the soil.
Oh, very good. So this is the first part of the activity. The children will sit down. They will write some descriptive sentences. They don't have to be complete sentences. They can be just a list. It doesn't matter. The second part of this activity for our students to get a closer connection to how they interact with the world and how the forested setting interacts with them has to do with a sketch. Now, Felicia finished the first part, and she did a very good job, by the way. I had her sketch. So this is an opportunity for the student to attribute colors to their feelings, to their senses, to the world around them. Everybody perceives things just a little bit different, and this gives them a closer connection. So Felicia's sketch, Kenny, can you get a good view of her sketch? Nice, and try not to wiggle too much. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now Felicia's sketch includes blue wind. She's got the birds making music. She's got the wind being pushing around, right? The wind is pushing around the grass and the trees.
Mm-hmm.
She has herself here down here in the corner, and she's smelling the sap. Are you getting this, Kenny? She's smelling the sap in her photo, in her sketch. She shows, where's the ant? Is it down here?
Mm-hmm.
She shows the ant. This is a beautiful representation. So is this how you saw the area that you were sitting in?
Yep, if you just take away the people, the cars, the houses, this is what I can see.
This is what you see?
Mm-hmm.
Did you enjoy doing this assignment?
Yep.
Was it fun? Do you feel like you're more connected to nature, or do you feel like, yeah, it's nature?
I feel like that. I feel a little bit more connected to nature.
Yeah? All right. So, I'm hoping that this video turns out well enough, because we're trying to do this in one take. Felicia, I want to say thank you. Mwah! You did a fantastic job. And like I said, I designed this one around you because this is what you just remind me of all the time. Music and beautiful and colors. Yeah, if I do another video, Lillian, you can be in it. Yeah. So that's my curriculum design project. I hope that it made sense. And I am glad to share this with everybody in the term. Thank you and have a good summer.